Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Rear View. This time I'm having a look at Colin McRae Rally 2.0. This game is arguably the most well-defined title of what is unarguably the most popular and long-standing rally game series of all time. While it is a departure from the more realistic games I'm usually attracted to, this unique combination of simulation and arcade elements strikes a great balance with broad appeal. In terms of content, you get 15 cars to pedal along 84 stages, spread across 8 countries. The car selection has some nice variety in the way of unlockable content, either through progression or cheat codes. You start with access to only a handful of familiar yet similar WRC cars, but this roster can soon be expanded with historic rally cars like the Mini Cooper S, Ford Escort and Lancia Stratos, as well as a couple of insanely powerful Group B cars. These bonus cars provide a nice challenge, particularly on the more claustrophobic stages. Speaking of which, while the rally events are taken from rounds of the World Rally Championship, these stages themselves are not. Instead, the game removes most of the straights, creating very compact yet thrilling stages which are more inspired by their real-world counterparts than actual representations. The longest stage in the rally is around 5.5 kilometers, and the average is around 4.5. Still, over the course of the 3 or so minutes it takes to complete each stage, you're taken on a roller coaster ride of constant sideways action, which melds beautifully with the physics modelling present. This game is only a year more recent than the Rally Championship 2000, and car handling, much like the whole approach, is as good but in a completely different way. So while this does share the pivot physics style with RC2K, it's much more about graceful slides and changing direction cleanly. The cars get sideways very readily, even on tarmac, but negotiating the courses at full speed requires using all of the admittedly too wide roads, and you soon learn to also start being more delicate with the throttle. And changing direction between slides feels very good for a game of this age. It's the tiny drop of realism in a sea of arcade which connects me to the cars, something Sega Rally never quite got right. What's unfortunate though is the terrible force feedback, and while I swear that it had excellent force feedback back in the day of Windows 98, using my Microsoft force feedback wheel, nothing I could do now could get it to work properly with the G25. It seems to be delayed, sporadic and weak, and makes clean car control somewhat difficult. Still, the game is very much drivable with it off, a very turn-of-the-century arcade racer, if you will. And it is very pretty. The car models look super shiny, and their high quality almost jars against the grainy stage textures. The stages themselves show some nice variety, loads of visible trees, some truly expansive shots where you can see where you'll be in 2 minutes. Aside from some strange fluctuations between 60 and 30 frames per second, which may have been fraps related, it's all still quite watchable, something helped significantly by the quality of the replays. And look at that backfire lighting, it's still amazing to this day. The sound is also mostly nice, loads of layers, the turbo sputters and tweets, the exhaust is constantly banging from the anti-lag system, and the straight-cut gearbox builds tension with speed as its whine crescendos in 6th. The only thing letting the side down is the engine sound, really. They're all quite generic, and a couple of them have some serious looping issues. Still, at least it's buried under a pile of other more interesting sounds. Damage modelling in the game, very lenient. You can eventually make your car slow, but that requires some serious negligence. Visual damage, however, is quite excellent, with lots of panels turning out to be very removable, and the windows and lights all being independently smashable. RC2K had these features as well, but it was less obvious and took a back seat to the more thorough mechanical damage. So, that's Colin McRae Rally 2.0 in a nutshell. I actually had a great time playing this game again, more so than with the more recent dirt games of this series. While it never induced the fear of retirement like Rally Championship 2000 does, it's still incredibly entertaining to barrel down those adrenaline-soaked roads to beat the record times. The gameplay is fun, just real enough to have some proper depth, The bonus cars, like the 205 T16, take the concept to the next level when you become accustomed to it. This has been a much tighter format for the show, I think you'll find, and I think it'll be the way forward. If you have any comments about the series, the game, or any questions at all, let me know. Please like or dislike, as any feedback is much appreciated, and of course subscribe if you want to keep updated. Thank you, and see you next time when I cover Richard Burns Rally, my favourite rally game of all time.